Hey everybody, what is up? My name is Sid Marcus of me. I am back again, once again, with another Destiny 2 build video. This time is actually a finalized version of what I previously recorded. Obviously, it's still the same layout, same class, Titan, Sunbreaker, all that good stuff. Uh, I'm just going to summarize it. I plan on having gameplay at the end of the video, because this is actually going to be like a video. So just stick around for that. I'm going to try to put like little timestamps and stuff for it so you guys can skip ahead if you don't really care about all this stuff. But I'm gonna go ahead and get with it. Obviously, I'm gonna be doing Sunbreaker. The only point or the only part of Sunbreaker that really matters now these days is the bottom tree, because top tree doesn't even matter no more because hammer strikes just doesn't matter anymore. So we're doing this bottom tree, going for all the sunspots, the sun warriors, all that good stuff. In case anyone did not know what bottom tree Sunbreaker does, every time you set someone on fire and they die, it spawns the sunspots. It gives you Sun Warrior, you get faster charge for your abilities, you get more damage from your weapons. It's just all overall really good. That goes with anything that's pretty much a solar explosion. I mean, to an extent, because some things don't count, but some things do. The main thing that really procs it the most is Thermite's Grenade, which is what you're going to be using a lot in this build. Not really a lot, but it's one of your main damage things, especially for like majors or just clearing, because the sunspots from the Sun Warrior stuff, they do pretty good damage, especially in clear. So yeah, doing Bottom Tree, Sunbreaker. Then you have to use Thermite Grenades. I mean, I don't know if you can use any other grenade, but there's no point. The cool thing about all this is the Warminds. Obviously, we're using global reach. Just, I mean, not really much to tell you about the mods itself. The only thing I could really mention that's really worth using or worth mentioning is burning cells. Whenever you break a sun or a Warmind, it causes them to catch on fire, and when they die, sunspots spawn. I mean, that's just how the synergy goes. But before I get to all this, I'm gonna go over to my weapons of choice. The exotic slot does not matter. Use whatever you feel like using. Obviously, Deathbringer is probably the DPS king at the moment, just because of the catalyst, which I have. I just haven't completed yet. Hopefully, I'll get that soon. But anything else that you want to use as solar works fine too, but it doesn't matter. That's why I'm using Deathbringer. The reason for that is because, well, I'll get to that in a minute. For the gun choices though, I'm going to use Chroma Rush. There's two ways you could go around this. My way is kinetic primary, because that's going to be your main weapon of choice. I'm using Heating Up and Wellspring. The reason why is, well, Wellspring's good for the build regardless, because grenades, melee, barrier, anything you use that's kind of heavy on the abilities, you always pretty much use Wellspring or Demolitionist. I'm gonna go Wellspring because that just seems the best fit. Heating Up is probably the best perk to ever exist. Stability and all that good stuff when you get kills. The only thing that really matters is whatever you want to use in the kinetic slot, you could use. Anything with Wellspring really, really works. If you're going to use a kinetic primary, your secondary special weapon in the energy slot kind of has to be Empty Vessel, because that's the only solar grenade launcher that we can use at the moment. Obviously, we're going to be using grenade launchers in this build. Empty Vessel, since it's solar and it does explosions, it does proc some of the sunspots and Warminds, at least for what it seems like. There's not really a particular role, except for probably auto loading holster and whatever you feel like going. This is what I have right now. I'm gonna upgrade that whenever I get the chance. Kind of doesn't matter. Now the second choice you can use for your weapon. Well, before I go to that, you can also use Hung Jury or anything with Firefly, because that does work. But I'm not going to bother with that, because unless you really need a scout rifle and you have this, go ahead and use it. That's up to you. But auto rifle, anything that's really good at ad clearing, kind of helps, or anything that helps boost your perks. Obviously, Firefly does proc Warminds and Sun Warrior and all that. So that technically probably the better option, but I'm gonna wait until Fall of Glass and the Fatebringer and all that comes out, and then see how that goes, because that'll probably be the better option. Yeah, empty Fezzle kind of mandatory, but if you don't want to use a special weapon in the energy slot, use anything that's solar and as a primary in the energy slot, and then for your primary, you could use ignition code, because we need grenade launchers in this build, or if you really want to and you have Anarchy or the OP exotic heavy shot or a grenade launcher, you can also use that, and then just use whatever the hell you want in these, as long as you have something solar to use. Because as much as we could proc anything with solar with our build or abilities, it's just nice to have a weapon that's solar. And the reason why we want solar and why all these matter is because we're going to be running Path of the Burning Steps. Any solar final blow gives you bonus damage to any weapon you use. So if you get your 4 stacks of Firewalker, your Deathbringer will just like 50k per missile, basically, like per the little balls it drops or whatever. That's kind of how it goes. This exotic is kind of mandatory. If you don't have this exotic and you still want to make a build similar to this, the one thing I did before I got this exotic was using the Phoenix Cradle, because Sun Warrior last stress is long. That's kind of the only reason. Other than that, I don't even know if this build will work. So with that being said, Path of the Burning Steps helps increase your damage from any solar that you do. So any Thermite grenade you blow, or throw any Warmind that didn't, well, I don't know if Warmind's proc yet. I haven't seen it happen, but anything you use that's solar related stacks up with Firewalker, and I think it's every 2 kills. As far as I know, I'm gonna have a gameplay footage at the end that's gonna show all of this. So with all this being said, we are going to be using Breach and Clear. It's kind of why I said it's mandatory to use a grenade launcher. You could use Blast Radius because of rapid kills with the grenade launcher, and only because Breach and Clear takes 9 slots. So I don't know what else you could put into one. So probably best to just use Blast Radius because it's a 1 energy slot and it gives you Charge of Light with rapid hits. The reason why we're going to use that is because we're going to use Origin Ordnance. If you were using a rocket launcher, might as well just use this to get that extra damage. Why not? You have the energy slots for it, might as well. Pretty self-explanatory. Get more damage when you get Charge of Light. When you use rocket, every time you damage, it takes up the stack. That's just self-explanatory. Obviously, Warmind burning cells. I already explained that earlier. Once you once you explode this and all the enemies catch on fire and they die, got like 20 Sun Warriors, Sunspots everywhere. It's kind of great. Obviously, Wrath of Rasputin, so we get the Warminds to proc. The only other thing to mention on the gloves is Impulse Recycler. Every time you get a kill with a grenade, we get energy back. You could stack this up if you want. I didn't find a reason to, because I'd rather use the rocket launcher loader, which is the 1 energy from the artifact. I'll go over my artifact and what I picked after I go through this. This is actually really nice. If you kill at least, I think you kill about 4 or 5 ads, you pretty much get your energy back. And that's kind of why we're using Rail of Spring, just to help regenerate that. And auto rifles, rapid frames are pretty busted at the moment anyway. And this is probably the best kinetic I've ever seen in any season come out. And I've been playing since launch. Obviously, helmet slot, I'm using Ashes of Assets because it's a 1 energy slot. And then global reach. So you can see how the build's going to work. You could use whatever you feel like, just as long as you have a solar weapon and this exotic and some of the mods, at least some of the Warmind mods and the Charge of Light mods. That's kind of all you need. And Breach and Clear, because Breach and Clear is busted. And you pair it with an auto-loading holster, you shoot the enemy, they get debuffed, you switch weapons to whatever you're using, and you switch back 5 seconds later, you get the bullet back. It's really good. It's synergized pretty well. And I was going to originally suggest the higher apparent. I think I'm pronouncing that every time I pronounce it wrong. just to add like a tank feel to it, because might as well. It's good, but it's not that good. I mean, it's good with the debuffs and stuff, but Deathbringer, you can't go wrong with it. Swords work really well too, so if you want to use a sword, you can go ahead. You can switch one of these for exotic you love for the kinetic slot or the secondary slot, as long as you just have some kind of way to proc Firewalker. Shit, you can even go all weapons that increase your abilities and just use grenades the whole time. That still works as long as you can proc Firewalker. It's OP. And obviously we can't get stasis basically, so that's the only reason it's worth keeping. I technically use this in PvP without even using solo just because of the stasis part, because it's actually really good. But yeah, that's overall build. Hopefully I explained that pretty well. I'm still trying to figure out how to explain things and get better at it, because I don't do this all often. I want to though, so that's what I'm trying. Yeah, just try to get that discipline up to 100 at least, and whatever else stats you want. It's a pretty friendly build. Artifacts, mostly just the stuff I normally use, but really just want breach and clear and pulse. You could get unstoppable grenade launcher for when you need unstoppable, because that'll probably be really good anyway. So then it's all pretty explanatory. So about to roll in some gameplay footage and try to showcase the build better, showing you all the just kind of like a strike or two. But with all that being said, thank you guys for watching. I hope this build pops up. Hopefully everyone likes it. I'm gonna try to do more Titan builds, solar, more like maybe another version of this. Probably go up to the Void like the Void class, the Arc, stasis, all that good stuff. So thank you guys for watching. You can like and comment. Feedback is appreciated. Thank you guys for watching. I'll see you guys in the next video. Bye bye.